Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The longest tenured governor of the state of Texas, Governor Rick Perry.
There you go.
I make it
You did good. So. That is the introduction I've been looking for some time. I get some that my mother would be proud of, but it takes about 5 or 10 minutes to get them done. So Baker, thank you. And I'm going to spend a little bit of time with you this afternoon, and I told a couple of you, my job is to keep you awake after all of that steak and chicken that you just got through consuming. So that may be a pretty big hill for me to climb over, but it's fun to get to spend time with folks who call the shots at media outlets all across the state, and I want to thank you just right up front for supporting a piece of legislation that we're going to be pushing this legislative session, the Say Nice Things About the Governor bill. Yeah. I also want to thank you and your stations for being very good training grounds for spokespersons at our state agencies. You all train them up and spend a lot of money on them, and then we come and recruit them to come in and be spokespersons for our state agencies, and we appreciate that. And but it is in the public service. On a serious note, the public service that you do is very, very important to this state and to our people. And I want to start off by saying thank you in a very profound way for the work that you did during. Or after, I should, well, before, during, and after Hurricane Ike, because it is through you and your public service and your PSAs that we are so capable in this state of getting information to the public, being able to communicate during a storm, and in a lot of cases with some satellite equipment that has its own generators, and being able to after a storm, be able to communicate, but also that very great gift that you give of time, and when I say that, I'm talking about your time, your air time that you give to this state in the form of our PSAs for the fundraising effort for Hurricane Ike. That is a gift of invaluable impact, and as a result of your generosity, we've been able to get the word out, gather resources, and that are really helping local communities and people in need in the affected area that massive hurricane. And I might add, it wasn't just Hurricane Ike. We had 3 hurricanes this year that had various impacts on our state, starting with Dolly and then Gustav. And this was the most expensive storm season that the state of Texas has ever had. And you all see it firsthand. But it's just one example of the vital services that you offer to your communities and to our state, and in times of disaster, you are the best source of information for our citizens. And in times of celebration, you're the best place to find out where the party's going to be. So anyway, last night, that was quite a party and quite a celebration. And during this most interesting and critical time in American history, it's still fun to have a party and realize that it's not all dark skies and rough sailing. You know, some people might say that your contribution to the community is just a response to keep the FCC happy. I don't believe that. Well, not completely. But what I found is that people are rarely drawn to the business that you're in just for the paycheck. And during my 24 years of public service, I spent a whole lot of time with broadcasters, reporters, and people who lead them, as many of you do, and I have to say that your common denominator is that you want to make a difference. In that way, I suspect that you and elected officials who have descended on Austin for another legislative session are a lot alike. The vast majority of those men and women in the Capitol over there come here obviously not for a paycheck. They do come here to make a difference. And perhaps the main difference is that we get measured by votes, and you light candles to the gods of Arbitron and Nielsen and the dreaded GRPs. So we also share a common shrinking resource, and that's money. Both the state and what you all are doing. We do with this international, national financial crisis. All of us are battling. You all are battling to make inroads into what I refer to as the new media and how it's impacting what you do, to make inroads into your advertisers and your listeners as you do battle, if you will, competition with these new sources of information. My work is with the legislature to forge a balanced budget in the midst of this global economic turmoil. We both know that throwing up our hands is not an option. Complaining doesn't move us in the right direction. That's not to say we don't complain. We know it's not going to be the answer to the problems that face us, which is why we're all examining very innovative approaches to succeed in these very obvious, tougher times, keeping spending down while looking for ways to invest in those things that will create new forward progress for our companies, in my case, for our state. For you, that may be investing in an expanded web presence. It may be new email marketing techniques. It may be, promotional partnerships that you have not gone into historically. For us, on the government side, it means holding government spending down while seeking to replenish key economic tools that we know work. The Enterprise Fund, the Emerging Technology Fund, our film incentive. It's really interesting as I've watched for the last year as other states' economies went into the red substantially before Texas' economy was even impacted. The good news for us is there's 6 states out there, Ken, that still have a budget that's in the black. And your home state's one of them, and I'm really proud of that. But as we watched what was going on across America, it became abundantly clear that we were going to be impacted. I mean, the idea that we're a state that's the #1 exporting state in the nation. There's more Fortune 500 companies call Texas home than any other state. We led the job creation development over the last 5 years in America. It's really fascinating what's happened in our state from the standpoint of our being able to withstand the waves. But the fact of the matter is that wall, that seawall, if you will, is only built so high. And it's starting to lap over now, and it's starting to impact our state. And we realize that we're going to have to really be thoughtful. We're really going to must be disciplined in our spending as we go through the next biennium budget. But even while that was happening, and I think it's as companies around the country were looking at their bottom line, companies like Cooper Tire, companies like Caterpillar, that were making decisions about what are we going to do to stay afloat, to be competitive out there in the world market. And as they made decisions to downsize, to restructure, They also asked the question of where's the best place for us to be located for the future? And time after time, the answer is Texas. As Cooper Tire Company shut down 2 plants across the country, they consolidated, and they moved those to Texarkana, Texas, and increased their total jobs there by 250. Caterpillar also shut down 2 plants in the United States. And now they're building the only engine manufacturing facility that Caterpillar will have in the world. Every engine that goes into a Caterpillar piece of equipment or a Caterpillar generator will be built in Seguin, Texas. 1,400 new jobs will be built there.